This video is to address some of the bullshit and the accusations that have been going on my page lately. I've had several black men ask me, both in the comment section of my videos and on my channel, why do I make videos about black men who are dating interracially, and why do I care who black men are dating? Well, first of all, before I even get off into that, my videos about black men are not aimed at all black men, and they're not aimed at all black men in interracial relationships. When I made that video, 8 things that pissed me off about black men who date interracially, and I want to reiterate, I said date interracially, not marry. I mentioned very specific things, specific behaviors that some men who date interracially exhibit, and I don't like them. None of those things was that I don't like them being with non-black women, period, or that I wish they were with me. I read down my list, and if you're a black man in an interracial relationship and none of those things apply to you, the video was not about you. Just like when I made the video about black men keeping their standards intact when dealing with women of other races, and not automatically assuming that it's love or that you're compatible with a non-black woman just because she likes you. I got these semi-pissed off responses from some black guy saying, well, we don't do that. Okay, fine. If you don't, then I'm not talking to you, bro. But I know it happens. If I were to make a video saying be careful when crossing the street, you don't need to come back with a comment saying, we know how to cross the street. I'm just saying be careful, that's all. I made a video to black women a few months back telling them to be careful about coming on to men of other races. There's a higher chance for getting used because most non-black men don't want to wife up a black woman. What's the difference between that video I made to black women and the one I made to black men? Nothing. I really don't know why that video to black men offended anybody. Oh wait, yes I do, and I'm fixing to get into that right now. To answer your question, why do I talk about black men and interracial? Or I guess I should say, why do I care? I care because some of you want me to. Because you come on my page already not liking me because I mix it up with Sergeant Willie Pete sometimes, and perhaps he's your hero. But anyway, you come on my page and attempt to antagonize me and other black women by making comments like, and that's why I don't date black women. Or you go around to videos with a certain theme, usually black women or something like that, and you purposely make comments about women of other races or interracial relationships that you know are going to get a rise out of black women. Or if a black woman makes a comment or a video criticizing black men about any certain thing, some of the men, instead of addressing the criticism, either shooting it down or accepting it or whatever, they totally dismiss it by saying, well, how come women of other races ... For some of you guys out there, interracial is your trump card. You use it to avoid criticism and to shake your ass in black women's faces. You guys don't want black women to not talk about your interracial relationships as long as they're talking about it like, oh, how come you guys don't want us? Is it our hair? Is it our eyes? Is it our skin? Why is it you don't want us? As long as it's some kind of pathetic, beggy, needy kind of thing like that, you're fine with it. As long as it strokes your ego and as long as it gives you the rise out of black women that you want, black women talking about black men in interracial relationships is a-okay with you. But when someone like me, who enjoys tearing down arguments, gets sick of some black men using interracial to antagonize black women, saying things like interracial relationships are so much better, and then I bring up the point that if they're so much better, how come they don't last as long as other relationships? Then all of a sudden, I'm the bad guy and I'm bashing. All of a sudden they want to know, why am I talking about this? What's the point of this video? Why are you so worried about who black men are dating? There are people starving in Africa and there's a hole in the ozone layer and you're talking about this? Mind you, if I had made a video with Seal and Heidi Klum's picture in it, or Taye Diggs and his wife's picture in it, or any other desirable black male who has a non-black significant other, if I had made a video with them asking, why is he with her and not with me? Why? Why? Is it my hair? Why? Please, black men, please date us again? No, I will not. I told you I had other options and I'm going to take them. Please? No. Please? No, I shall not. Apparently these are white black people from the 1800s, but the point is, as long as the conversation goes something like that, black men are fine with black women talking about their interracial relationships. They're not going to be asking, why are you talking about this and what's the point of this video? In fact, when a black woman makes a video like that, some of the black men will further antagonize her by saying, well, white women are just better. And then, of course, some of the black women are going to respond emotionally, oh, you're just color-struck, your mother's black, you're just self-hating. And then some of the other black guys will start giving advice. Maybe you need to look at yourself and see what's wrong with you and why you can't attract a man. which isn't bad advice, but the point I'm trying to make is they're saying that instead of why are you worried about who black men are dating. And then there's a third group of black men who are just gonna totally pick the chick apart. Oh, it's because you're fat, or I can tell you got an attitude, or do you have any kids? Okay, that's why it is. Look at that weave. It's because you got a weave. And again, none of this is bad advice. Might be a little bit rude, but not bad advice. But again, my overall point is they're not complaining about this black woman talking about interracial relationships. Next point, regardless of whether I'm single or not, or who I am or am not with, I don't like to be taunted. And I get sick of black men antagonizing black women with interracial. It's just human nature not to want to be teased and taunted. For those of you who can remember when Sergeant Willie Pete was on YouTube, he had a multiple video exchange with a black woman named Ruth Lynn who was married to a white guy. A rather fine white guy, might I add. But anyway, I'm not sure exactly which video set him off or what she said, but I think it was one where she made a video talking about the green of his eye and the blonde of his hair and just really praising his physical looks. And I think Pete took her video as her flaunting her white man. And he made a response video where he went off. I mean, he completely lost his shit. He was yelling and cussing and spitting on the mic. And keep in mind, this is a guy who says he doesn't care now, but I can understand to a certain degree because nobody likes to be taunted. And I'm not saying that Ruth Lynn was taunting him, I'm just saying that he felt that she was, and that's what made him upset. And the other thing I don't like, which I already mentioned, is that when we're having a discussion about black relationships and how to bring black women and black men together, the black men will make their complaints about black women, and I'm not saying that the black women receive it well. They may deflect or say that's bullshit, but at least they'll keep the conversation between us, black men and black women. But then when the black women start voicing their complaints, then all of a sudden the black men want to start saying, well, we don't have to listen to you, we've got options. If you won't do what we want, someone else will. Which in theory is correct, but then what's the point of these talks between black men and black women if every time the spotlight is on black men you're going to resort to interracial threats? If we're supposed to be talking to each other, having a conversation, you can't do all the talking and no listening. You might as well just go on ahead and go interracial and stop threatening, and let the black men who really want to be with black women continue the conversation without you. Moving along, another reason that I know some black men use interracial for a trump card is because when black women try to play the same card, the black men are quick to come back and say how much easier it is for black men to cross over than it is for black women. Now that is true, but some of them want to take it too far and act like black women are totally undesired and totally unwanted by anyone. And that is such bullshit. First of all, if 43% of black women never marry, that means 57% of them do. See, anything over 50% is what we would call a majority. Second of all, just like I said in my 8 things that piss me off about black men who date interracially video, when you have a small black minority in a white or non-black majority country, the ratio makes it a lot easier to find someone outside your race, even if most of the majority population is not interested in being with a black person. If a black woman really wants to date out or marry out, she can. It may be easier for black men, but to sit there and act like black men can go interracial and black women can't is a lie. Another point I want to make, which I brought up earlier on in the video, if and when black men want to use interracial as a trump card, and then I come back and say, well, how come black men's interracial relationships don't last as long as others? Some black men want to cry foul and say that that's bashing. Well, I don't see that as any different than when black women want to use their education or their degrees or their jobs to throw it into black men's faces trying to prove that they're doing better than black men. And then black men come back with stats that show that when it comes to the upper level degrees like your doctorates and your masters and your PhDs, whatever, that black men are beating the pants off of black women. Or that when it comes to the highest paying jobs, again, if it's a competition between black men and black women lose. Is that bashing black women? No, you're just trying to take away their trump card. Just because you bring up those stats doesn't mean you're jealous of black women. And just because I try to take away the black man interracial trump card doesn't mean I'm jealous of black men in interracial relationships. What do I need to be jealous for? I've got a ring. I just don't like to be antagonized. I don't like black men bringing it up when it's irrelevant. And the last point I want to make is that most of the videos that I've made about black men and interracial are video responses. The racial hierarchy video was a response to Pink Elephant. The Classy My Assy video series was a response to Sergeant Willie Pete. I watch about 80% of his videos, and when he says something that I consider to be contradictory, I make a response. And it's kind of hard to make a response to Sergeant Willie Pete without talking about interracial, because in just about every video he mentions, and that's why black men are going over the fence. It is impossible for him to make a video about black women, or the black community, or black men without mentioning black men in Interracial. You think I'm exaggerating? Go listen to his videos. But anyway, the reason that some black men get so heated about my interracial dating videos is because it takes away their trump card, which is exactly what I set out to do. I'm running out of time now, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. Peace out.